prior to after, obviously. But now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at
his age,
even at an elder version of him.
Shit, it was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny, because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician man.
Yes, Manny, you can't come out of retirement because this guy is so bad. Like, that fired him up a little bit, and then he goes in the ring and he does nothing. He goes in the ring and like I thought it was an embarrassing performance from a 30-year-old champion.
Fighters are genuinely terrified of Manny Pacquiao's comeback because even at 46, he moves like he's still in his prime. Shawn Porter, who witnessed Pacquiao's training and his performance against Barrios, confidently stated Pacquiao is still him. Despite his age, Manny's speed, footwork, and intensity remain rare. Opponents fear that the legendary version of Pacquiao hasn't faded on, that he's still capable of dominating. Top-tier fighters today.
What do you think about the overall matchup?
Everything, man. I watched him train last week or the week before, and amazing to see him still move and bounce and do all the same things that he was doing in camp years ago when I was with him. So he's still locked in. He's still him, you know? Crazy, but he is. You know what they say, man. The last thing to go is that power.
Chris Algieri, who once stepped into the ring with Pacquiao during the prime of both their careers, offers a rare and respected perspective. According to him, there's something extraordinary about Manny that transcends time. While most fighters decline with age, Pacquiao remains a puzzle even younger. Fresher opponents struggle to solve. Algieri describes him as one of the hardest fighters to prepare for. Unpredictable, fast, explosive, and relentless. He emphasizes that age is irrelevant when it comes to Manny's capabilities. Pacquiao possesses a unique physical and mental edge, one that no training camp can replicate or predict. For Algieri, Pacquiao's comeback isn't just possible, it's dangerous for anyone standing across from him.
Prior to after, obviously. But now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at
his age,
even at an elder version of him.
In his fight against Mario Barrios, Pacquiao shocked audiences with how much of his trademark style remained intact. At 46, many expected to see a faded legend attempting to relive past glory. Instead, fans witnessed blistering footwork, sharp combinations, and clever angles, everything that once made Pacquiao a feared champion. What stood out most was the closeness of the rounds. Even those he didn't win on the scorecards were fiercely competitive. His timing, ring generalship, and stamina held up impressively. While Barrios was expected to dominate due to youth, he often found himself reacting instead of controlling. It was clear Pacquiao wasn't just participating, he was still competing at a high level.
I think Manny's always been good at that. And my son really pointed it out perfectly. He was still good at it. He was still good at it. I think he was stealing some rounds at the end. Whether he deserved them or he didn't deserve them, whatever. They were close rounds. He might have stole them on the judges' cards. What we shouldn't forget is he's a special guy, and he put a special performance. I never saw camps on the legs of somebody that big. I mean, it's incredible. I thought early on he stumbled a little bit. I thought his legs were stumbling a little bit, like you might see in a 46-year-old, a little bit. But at the end, they got the act together. He used them pretty good. He used them pretty damn good. What I think he also did was maybe a little bit of, I think the word illusion is too powerful, but I'd say a little misleading, where he threw those real fast punches like my son said. They weren't quality punches like they used to be, where there was real impact and real power at the end of them. They were more like just quick punches. And they weren't all being impactful. They weren't all landing clean. Some did, but they weren't all landing clean. And they definitely weren't landing with real power.
Social media personality and fighter Salt Papi joined the conversation with a bold take on a potential rematch between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. To him, Manny's current form shows he's still active, well-conditioned, and mentally in the game, unlike Mayweather, who has spent years away from real competition. Salt Papi believes that if the two legends were to meet again, the outcome would be dramatically different from their 2015 encounter. This time, Pacquiao's rhythm, activity, and hunger could overpower Mayweather's aging reflexes, while Floyd has maintained his perfect record through low-risk exhibitions. Salt Poppy argues that Manny's true return to elite form makes him the more dangerous of the two today.
Have you spoken to Manny recently? I know you're friends with him.
No, I haven't spoken to him, no.
What would you want to see him do next?
Fight Floyd Mayweather or Gervonta Tank.
You think he beats Tank, near prime Tank Davis?
We'll see. Styles make fights, so we just don't know.
What about Mayweather versus Pacquiao too?
Yeah, that'll be a good fight. Manny is still active. So.
Okay.
ACQUIA O single quotes as performance against Barrios was a reminder of why he's a generational talent. Every time Barrios tried to engage, Manny responded with 2 or 3 lightning-fast punches. His output, energy, and footwork stood in stark contrast to Barrios' cautious, often reactive style. What impressed fans and critics alike was how youthful Pacquiao's movements still appeared, his legs constantly moving, cutting angles, and creating opportunities. Many observers questioned the official result, noting that Manny's aggression and volume far outweighed Barrios' sparse counters. Pacquiao didn't just look good for his age, he looked like he still belonged at the top.
That's not what happened. Barrios was so tentative in this fight. He was essentially standing there for some of the exchanges. Manny Pacquiao came out and did what Manny Pacquiao does. By the way, credit to Manny. At 46, he still had some feet. He was moving, dancing on Mario Barrios. He was throwing combination punches going forward on Mario Barrios. And when he wasn't doing that, he was countering Mario Barrios, who looked like a stick in the mud. He looked like he couldn't even get out of first gear because Manny was hitting with combinations. Were they hurting super bad? Maybe not. Some of them definitely were. Had a mouse under the eye of Mario Barrios, but others were just flurries, and they were keeping Barrios at bay. And when Barrios was throwing 1, Pacquiao was throwing 3. When Barrios would throw out his jab, Manny would counter with his lead right hand, stepping on the inside plane, doing all the old Manny shit. It was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny, because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling, for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao, but 2, just how great he was. 8-division world champion, started his career at 106, I think, comes up to 147. What are we talking?
Skeptics have questioned Manny's motives for returning, suggesting financial incentives may be his main driver. Given his legendary status and achievements, he has nothing left to prove. As a Hall of Fame world champion in 8 divisions and a global icon, Manny could comfortably remain retired, yet the fact that he chooses to come back raises eyebrows. Critics argue the risks outweigh the rewards at his age, especially when the physical toll of boxing only increases over time. They believe no amount of pride or legacy building justifies stepping into the ring again, lest there's a major payday involved.
Manny Pacquiao crazy for coming back and fighting is because they don't understand what's going on in Manny Pacquiao's life. When a fighter is 46 years old, he doesn't just come back to fight a top fighter because he just wants to fight a top fighter. When he's going through that, that's what's brought him to that place in the first place. And that is having what we call bandwidth extension. He's totally scattered his brain and lost so much money over the course of time. And the same thing that happens when you get a paycheck and you start spending, and because you get shiny object syndrome, you want to get the new watch, you want to get the new gear, you want to eat at the restaurant, you want to go spend money. That shiny object syndrome, and you can't get it under control the same way that Manny Pacquiao did. He couldn't get things under control. So therein lies the situation where all of that money that he's made, hundreds of millions of dollars, just burnt. And now you gotta fight. But if you really stop focusing on the symptoms and start concentrating on the root of this thing, and the root of this thing is bandwidth, shiny object syndrome, trying to be so relevant in so many different scenarios. You wanna train, you wanna run this other business, you wanna do this, you got this great idea. And it all boils down to the term that I use all the time, and that's compensatory control, laser focus. Get one idea, follow through with that idea. You gotta have a plan in order to do it. And that's how you get to from here to here. That's when you're 46, you don't have to fight anymore. And that is my message today. Just understand why you're scattered. Understand why you can't get anything going all the way through. You can never finish that thought process and execute the plan, and therefore you continue to find yourself in a situation where you're desperate. You're trying to find a way to get back to where you were, which is even. But if you stay locked in and concentrate on the compensatory control factor of your life, which is doing everything that you think of every single day the exact same way, and I take 1 minute.
However, Pacquiao has consistently refuted claims that money is his motivation. Over the years, he has built a reputation not just as a fighter, but as a humanitarian. From funding hospitals to supporting disaster relief in the Philippines, Manny has never shied away from sharing his wealth. He often reminds the media that he fights for his people, not his pockets. His return, he says, is about passion, legacy, and inspiration. Pacquiao wants to show the world that age is just a number when the heart remains strong. For him, it's about proving that greatness doesn't expire. With the Barrios fight behind him, speculation about Manny's next opponent has now taken over boxing headlines.
I became a world champion and I realized that this is the time that I can help my family. Before that, we don't have food to eat in one day. We just drink a lot of water to survive. And I remember one time, my young brother is 5 years old back then, and he was crying like in the afternoon, 1:30 in the afternoon. He's crying because he's hungry. He's asking for food. We don't eat breakfast. We don't eat lunch. He don't understand what is. When you're telling him no money, we have no money to buy food, and he's crying like, "Mom, I'm hungry." Like he's crying, and I look to my mom and look at his eyes, and it's the tear flow in his eyes, and then I feel so sad and like. Of course, I'm crying also because hungry. We drink water just to survive. That's our past, so that's why I always told them that, Manny Pacquiao is Manny Pacquiao, but I don't have the right to become arrogant, to become boastful. I want to stay humble because we've been there. We came from nothing.
Rolando Rolly Romero has emerged as a front runner, especially after training footage surfaced, suggesting he's already preparing for the challenge. His camp has expressed enthusiasm about the matchup, and Romero has publicly stated he'd be honored to share the ring with a legend like Manny. Meanwhile, names like Devonta Davis have also been floated, though that fight remains uncertain due to promotional conflicts and timing issues.
No. Tira los golpes largos, men. Porque si da paso ya te pega mucho. Quédate atrás, men. No te cuidas. Ahí, quédate ahí parado, ahí donde tú estás.
Boxing Doctor News, Manny Pacquiao's next potential opponent is Rolly Romero, the WBA welterweight champ. Romero is under the same promotion, has the belt, and can sell a fight. He's eager to face Pacquiao, saying, "A Hall of Famer on my resume. Who wouldn't want that?" After Pacquiao's draw with Barrios, his advisor sees Romero as the favorite for Manny's next bout. Romero has knockout power and isn't afraid to bring the heat. Is this the explosive matchup fans have been waiting for?
Some fans continue to push for a rematch between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, believing Floyd would win again. What they overlook is that Mayweather is not only older than Pacquiao, but also far less active. He hasn't faced a serious opponent in years, focusing instead on low-risk, high-reward exhibitions. Facing a rejuvenated Pacquiao now wouldn't be the same as in 2015. Back then, Floyd fought a version of Manny recovering from a shoulder injury and struggling to find rhythm. This time, he'd be up against a sharper, faster, and more purposeful Pacquiao with nothing to lose. A matchup Mayweather would likely avoid.
And we will see what transpires, but all these people out here saying that the fight was fixed, a lot of these people were not fans of Manny Pacquiao. When that whole Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao situation was going on with the steroids allegation, the needles, and the back and forth between the Pac-Tars, as they called them back in the day, and the Mayweather fans. A lot of those fans still hold grudges towards Manny Pacquiao. I guarantee if that was Mayweather that was fighting Mario Barrios coming into that fight after a long layoff, all the people would have said Mayweather had a chance, Mayweather going to win, become champion once again. Mayweather levels above Mario Barrios even at that age. And Mayweather's actually older than Pacquiao. But those same people wasn't giving Pacquiao no chance to defeat an average fighter in Mario Barrios. And that's what I base my pick on, that Mario Barrios is average. Some people that's Tank Davis fans, you know, they want to blow up Mario Barrios into something that he really ain't. Because really before the Tank fight, we talking about Mario Barrios right now. Before the Tank fight, he took on a guy by the name of Ahmad Daliev. He lost that fight. And he took a beating from that fight. And Mario Barrios really ain't never been the same from that fight. Go back and watch that fight. That was the fight before the Tank fight. Now a lot of people say, well, he was looking good in the Tank fight. He was winning.
Thank you for watching. If you found this video valuable, please consider giving it a like and sharing it with others who might benefit. To stay updated with our latest content, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the next video.